Okay, so the next movie that I made Angela watch is a version of Taxi Driver done as a comedy. That's really all I have to say. It's Observe and Report, with starring Seth Rogen and Anna Faris, who I'm just a huge fan of. And this film it's a dark comedy. It came out a month or so after that Paul Blart Mall Cop, which is a big piece of crap. This movie came out, it's sharp, it's funny, it's daring, and it's very bleak, and it's just a riot. And I absolutely love this film.
I really enjoyed this one as well, and I think I just wish it had come out at a different time because I really felt like it got lost because of Paul Blart, and it's like not even the same movie. The only thing they have in common is that they're both about mall security guards, which is just an unfortunate coincidence because Paul Blart made like $1 million zillion, right? And you know, as you said, was awful. And then this one comes along, and it's a totally different tone. So people that went to see it maybe were expecting the same sort of thing.
Boy, did they get woke up.
But I remember, you know, when this came out, I was sort of interested because it got so, I kind of thought from the previews, they sold it wrong too, because I remember seeing the previews and going, I'm not sure, because they showed all the stuff with them running around the parking lot. And and so, the slapstick stuff. And I thought, oh, it's just another Paul Blart with Seth Rogen, maybe a little bit more ironic. But but then when the reviews came out, a lot of the critics liked it. So I remember being curious about this. So I'm glad you recommended this one. I really enjoyed it as well. I felt maybe like at the very end, the very ending, the almost ending to the ending after that, maybe almost tried to tie things up a little too nicely with a little bow, a little too happy. I think they either needed to go all the way with the dark edge, but it's a really just hard type of humor to balance because it's so dark. It's such black humor that I'm not sure how else you end the movie unless you just like blow everything up. But there's something that the character does at the end that I don't want to give away, and I thought, oh wow, he's really gone to the extreme. It is like Taxi Driver. He's taken it as far as he can take it. Oh, but then it's sort of like a happy ending after that. And I thought when he goes to the police station, I thought that seemed a little like it rang a false note to me. But that's the last 5 minutes.
It's kind of a wink at the camera, I thought, more or less. That wasn't so bad.
I didn't think then it was great, but you know, it's like 5 minutes out of a 90-minute movie.
Seth Rogen just does a fantastic job. And Ray Liotta, I mean, come on, this is a great
It's good casting throughout, and it really gets to something about sort of the heart of certain types of people that, you know, it actually reminded me in a way of the movie The Fan, and the guy from The Fan is in this movie in a small cameo role, but The Fan, which you really liked, which was about sort of, in a different way, a loser guy who's like a huge sports fan. Big fan. Oh gosh, sorry, I was getting mixed up.
Robert De Niro, Wesley Snipes. I did not see that movie.
Big Fan. Sorry, I was thinking of Big Fan is same guy, but it reminded me of that same type of movie. It reminded me of that kind of humor. I liked this better than Big Fan, which you know I wasn't a huge fan of, and I think in part because even though I think Seth Rogen manages, despite the fact his character is a creep, he manages to make him sort of likable, or at times you sort of want some, you know, him to sort of figure things out.
He's a big teddy bear, whether he's a mean grizzly, he's just, there's something
he made him a little bit
like
likable enough.
But Anna Faris, now I know you haven't seen House Bunny, which will be the next great DVD swap.
Oh gosh, please.
It's a terrible movie. She's very funny. And in this movie, she's very funny. And so what did you think of?
Oh, I thought she was great. And you know, of course, I'd seen the drunk scene in the previews, but then the way she took the character out, but then her working at the makeup counter and how she was so like hysterical. She was almost, I mean, it was almost like a bad Britney Spears imitation or something, what she tries to do. I mean, it was quite inspired. And I felt so bad for the girl that behind the counter that he just continually ignored, you know.
Well, for a while there. But then he went in and he protected her.
Yeah, at the end, he sort of gets a clue, sort of.
Yeah.
And then I think Pedro, the guy who plays Pedro in Napoleon Dynamite plays the other mall security cop in this movie. It's not the same guy? He looked similar.
Oh, here comes the emails. No.
Okay, sorry. He was doing a similar type of accent. It wasn't because of their skin color. It was just the accent reminded me of Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite.
It's like Grandpa's over for Christmas.
Oh, gosh.
Please stop talking.
Okay. Anyway, it was
next
interesting.
Movie.
Yes. Anyway, so I enjoyed that one. Yes,
Good.
I can give it 3.5 stars. So. We'll move on to my last one, Singles from 1992. And you know, we were going through the movies we own, and it was either this one or another French film for Bryan, and I'd already given him 2 French films. It's not because I think this is a 5-star classic movie. It is not up there with Stagecoach.
You own it.
By any means. I do own it, and I own it when I also own Say Anything. I went through a huge Cameron Crowe phase in high school where I watched Cameron Crowe movies a lot. Yeah. And so, I still defend this one as an entertaining movie. I think it's a good movie. I do not think it's a great movie. The main reason I liked this movie is Kira Sedgwick and Campbell Scott, who play, and I should describe the plot, I suppose. It's a group of singles in Seattle, and it was sort of the grunge movie when it came out, and it was playing on the trend of grunge. Of course, it came out sort of post-grunge, really, as movies often do. But Cameron Crowe is a very good director, and he does have a tendency to capture good things about human spirit. And I think Bridget Fonda and Bill Pullman. Is it Bill Pullman? Are great in this film, and I love Campbell Scott and Kira Sedgwick's relationship in this movie. I just wanted the best for them. And I still think it's a good romantic comedy. I avoided
this movie like the plague when it came out because it was supposed to be about the grunge music. I hate it with the grunge. The early 90s, the music scene.
That is the soundtrack, yeah.
It's the soundtrack and it's the setting in terms of its being in Seattle, and that's it. And so I'm glad I eventually got to see it because I do want to see the rest of Cameron Crowe's movies. But you can definitely see this is where him building up to something like Jerry Maguire, where he's really dealing with some serious issues. Say anything
Almost
shouldn't
famous.
Do, but you can see where he's really building up. He tries, some hit and miss there where he really tries for "you complete me" type of lines that just don't quite work.
Some work
and so
better
you can
than
kind
others,
of see it's a work in progress there. The soundtrack, of course, is fantastic. I own it. I own the soundtrack, but I wouldn't call it I wouldn't call it a musical. But it was cool to see Alice in Chains and a few bands that were Soundgarden that were performing. But it is necessarily, it's just about these people here. And Kira Sedgwick, I'm a big fan of her. I do enjoy a lot of the work that she does, and I did enjoy her character's part. Matt Dillon, they put a wig on Matt Dillon, and he tries to be a stoner cool. It's about as good as that sounds. That was the weaker part of the movie. Bridget Fonda, I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the rest of the cast.
I thought she was really sweet in this movie.
It's just a real cold sore on the movie. It's kind of hard.
You really don't like the Matt Dillon character?
I didn't. It was tough. It was tough. But you get to see Eddie Vedder smile, so that's completely worth it.
A lot of musician people I know like his character just because some of the lines he makes are very stereotypical, like when he talks about his band in that video interview. There's a famous scene there. But I love the scene with Kira Sedgwick, which is just like a lot of nice little scenes in this movie. After her and Campbell Scott have sort of a bad period in their relationship, and she's scrubbing the toilet with his T-shirt that he left over her house, just like little things like that. And Bridget Fonda, who it starts off as sort of like the anti-feminist, she is just like this guy's doormat, and then she finally gets a life. And I love that scene where she finally realizes, hey, I can be free and fun. You know, that was one of the issues in the movie for me was the way it ends with her and Matt Dillon, because I just thought she should have gone another way.
Exactly.
But it's not.
But, I would say to me, I didn't like Elizabeth Town, but I would say it was on par with that. It was just it's uneven, and you can kind of see where he's trying to get.
Still liked it better.
He's trying to get his footing there.
I love
and then Elizabeth Town, he just kind of lost it. I don't know exactly. So it was just like
he just
went, But no, it was definitely worth seeing, and I did enjoy it. I liked it. It was a 3-star
You did like
movie.
it, okay.
I liked it.
I wasn't sure. I thought maybe you'd hate it, and I was like, because you were sort of against watching it, but I'm like, I needed to give you something to watch besides French New Wave films, I suppose. So.
All right, so how do I have to review? Because I really don't want to talk about this. So we both recommend Stagecoach, and we like The Point of the Cord, and Angela didn't like Dr. Horrible Sing-Along Blog, and broke my heart right on camera. I love it. And, of course, we highly recommend Army of Shadows, Observe and Report, and we liked Singles. Angela liked it a little more than me. So, of course, you can follow us on the Twitter account. That's at twitter.com, where we're under Real Film Snobs. Maybe you've heard of it. RealFilmSnobs.com, which is, of course, our website. You can go on there and submit a viewer's pick, or you might be on there right now. And, of course, you can follow us on Facebook, as well as we're on YouTube, along with everyone else.
In the world.
And the world.
It seems like, anyway.
And so, of course, we always want to thank our fantastic crew, as well as our sponsors. And thanks for watching. Have a good day and great movies.